Hi, I'd love to share with you what I've learned in this first week of June around energy management by saying yes to too much and not saying no enough. We teach what we most need to learn, right? So, over 3 days, I ran 8 well-being webinars and 2 half-day leadership well-being masterclasses. And in between that, I managed to pull together an ebook and answer emails. And like I know you all know, like stay on top of business as usual. However, Friday, I am a little embarrassed to say that I crossed a threshold and a boundary of my resourcefulness because I reacted rather than responding in a way that I'm not proud of. So I got so frustrated because I was beyond tired. And I took the mouse and I slammed it so hard on the desk that I actually hurt my wrist. I know when I do something like that, like I physically hit something, that I've definitely not paid attention. So I reflected last night and this morning, why did I get to that point? And I realized that as much as I said yes to so much work, and work that makes me joyful, I mean, it made me feel more alive, it increased my capacity to love, it came easy. And those 3 things are my guiding principles, my compass on how I choose to live my life. I mean, I'm here, my raison d'être, my ikigai, my purpose is to help people enrich the quality of their lives by inspiring them to better well-being. However, I'm not superhuman, I'm not a superwoman. And when we say yes to more things, we have to learn to say no. And what I learned was I did not say no enough to my inner critic. So my inner critic, Miss Perfectionist, wanted to make sure that the slides were extra perfect, that I was extra well prepared. So I got up extra super early on each day. And that was just too much. Like there was a point where my work was good enough and I didn't have to go that extra bit. So that was a lesson learned. Do you know when your inner critic perhaps is just pushing you beyond a boundary and that actually good enough is enough and you don't have to go beyond that? And then I also could have said no to social media, especially during the 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, when I was under such a tight schedule. Because social media can be inspiring, but it can also be very draining. And then what I learned again was how, as humans, we function best when we oscillate our energy demands. So when we push hard and then recover and push hard and recover. And what I did for 3 days was like linear, just push, which was okay, but it isn't sustainable. I mean, you can get to a point where you can throw something, like I threw my mouse, or something more severe. So knowing your red flags, knowing what happens to you physically when you get really stressed or really tired, or mentally and emotionally, and then making a decision based on that awareness to maybe stop a little earlier and find a way to recoup, be it a mindful minute, maybe a good night's rest, maybe just some deep breaths. There's so many things that you can do. So that was my first week of June. Very joyful, lots of learning, a bit of a roller coaster, as all these previous weeks and months are proving to be. So much inquiry. I'd love to hear from you. What was your highlight of this first week of June? Was there a low light? Because we can learn from each other for sure. And I hope that you also use your inner compass to help you make good choices, and that whatever you choose to do makes you feel alive and increases your capacity to love and comes easy without much resistance. Here's to another good week. Sante.